You know,
Mika,
there's a difference between Baba
yes,
and there's a difference between you.
Let's
and
be honest
Baba himself.
Let's be honest, Mika. Mika, I will accept. Just a minute. I will accept your position, whether you don't want to support us anymore, whether you've given up on Baba, whether you've given up on Sifuna, but I want it to be informed. No, we said let us be informed. No. Number one, Mika, you are jumping over a few facts. Number one, let me give you those facts. On the day when these young people said they were going to State House, who are the people who are saying don't go to State House? Was it Raila? And there is a difference between you perceiving something and it being a fact. The truth does not change depending on whether you believe it or not. The truth remains the truth. We can disagree. You say you don't believe me, but it is the truth. I will not force my truth on you, and you cannot force your perception on me. You know, one of the things I've decided to do, Ali, I will tell my own story. We will tell our own story.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you believe us or not, because at the end of the day, in fullness of time, the truth has a way of coming out. I have been crucified for things that are actually not true. And I've given you examples. I've given you the Ndengu bill. And it was in the national newspaper, Daily Nation. Waliweka wakasema, Senate imepitisha sheria ya kusema ukipanda ndengu utafainiwa. It was not true. Even after an apology was rendered by that newspaper, there are still people who talk about ndengu.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and Senator, I'm glad you said something that the anger is not there, and you said something that something here. So let me tell you something. Like Ali, I'm not going to speak as a presenter of the OneMicShow. I'm going to present as Mika, somebody who has voted for Baba since I got my first voter's card in the year 2000, and I voted for Baba the first time in 2002. And I voted
2007
I voted for Baba because I voted in Langata.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying this is somebody that I've given my vote for every election. Up even in 1997, I was living in Dubai, flew to Kenya, and voted for him. The only election I didn't vote for was 2013 when I was here in the States. Okay, so apart from that, this is somebody who's a Baba follower. This is somebody who has friends in both spectrums of my generation, which is the millennials. I have a Gen Z child, and I have Gen Z family and Gen Z friends. As somebody who has connections between Nairobi and Kenya and Busia, and this is somebody who is involved in every day-to-day life. And I will tell you just conversation-wise, wacha tutoe siasa sasa. News among a ground, kitu yenye iko ground, and this is what people saw that demoralized them from going to the demonstration, because at one point demonstration walikuwa wamesema ni ya mababi pekee, right? Ni mapang ni watu wa KFC na iPhones. People came out from and then guess what, the young people all have the same issues. They came out from all sides of the country, every area. It no longer became about KFC and iPhones. It becomes about the young people and what they want to be done better in the country. The factors that demoralized them, when they told Baba stay out of this, and Baba stayed out of it, and they told politicians to stay out of it, and then politicians were coming in, and the reason why people were and the reason why people say they came in and they say, we know this is going to cause a vacuum. We are hoping that nobody takes advantage of this. And they felt that ODM came and took advantage, because the demoralization started, number one, when abductions became free and willy, and they were being abducted every now and everywhere. Everybody, that became a scare tactic. Number two, when the government was formed, the broad-based government that he's talking about was formed. And number three, when politicians from your side of the aisle told people to stay. I even have tweets from Honorable Kaluma telling people, Baba amesema tunaenda huku, I do not want any more demonstration, I don't want any mandamano. So you cannot say that he did not say that, while there are clips on the internet, not on the national conversation.
Boss.
National conversation was you.
Mika,
You know,
Mika.
there's a difference between Baba
Yes.
and there's a difference between you.
Let's
And
be honest here.
Baba himself.
Let's be honest, Mika. Mika, I will
honest.
accept. Just a minute. I will accept your position, whether you don't want to support us anymore, whether you've given up on Baba, whether you've given up on Sifuna, but I want it to be informed.
No,
We said let us be informed.
no.
Number one, Mika, you are jumping over a few facts. Number one, let me give you those facts. On the day when these young people said they were going to State House, who are the people who are saying don't go to State House? Was it Raila?
No,
It was
wasn't
the
Raila.
leader.
I'm not talking
It
about
was
going to State
just a
House.
minute. It was the young people themselves and the people who are the loudest voices in this particular movement. Those accounts are
Yes.
there saying at this one is a different issue altogether. This is not like Parliament. Sijui State House is a protected area. That is what was taking the fire from the movement. Number two,
I agree that.
after the rejection of the finance bill, what were the young people themselves saying? You did not hear Sifuna saying now you cannot go on with the movement. Many of the young people themselves, and we follow these conversations, were saying the reason we were in the streets is the finance bill. Now that the president has abandoned it, we no longer have the reason to go to the streets. The movement turned on itself. I was following these conversations.
But
Number
remember,
three,
Senator,
by the time Ruto is saying he's disbanding his government, you can see other people also saying now, we have achieved what it is that we wanted, we need to stop. There were different voices. They were no longer speaking in the same voice that we saw prior to this. So for you to come and tell us that it is Raila who told people not to go to State House, it is there. It is there
No,
online.
I'm not
Even
saying-
today,
and
I
then-
can
and then
open
again-
those accounts.
So,
Please,
Senator, when you tell,
wacha tukosane
Senator,
kwa
when you tell me
ukweli,
to be
lakini si
factual,
ati
Yeah.
tukosane na uongo.
Okay,
Tuambiane
nakwambia
ukweli.
ati-
Haya, Mika,
Ngoja
one
sema-
minute,
ngoja-
one
ngoja-
minute.
ngoja-
Kuna
ngoja-
watu kwa simu wanataka
Okay,
ongea.
I
One
know,
minute,
I'm
Mika.
finishing up real quick.
Yeah.
So, Senator, you've told me to be factual. Also, be factual. I've not said that
Yeah.
I said Raila went. Okay, also, you be factual. Don't say I've mentioned Raila told people not to go to State House.
The
I didn't
clips
say
you are
that.
talking about, what clips were you saying?
No.
Yeah.
I said when he said it's time for conversation. He said it's time for conversation. He said it. And before the show is over, I'm going to pull clips for you. And
Yeah,
I
and-
will show you.
And
I will do
you
that.
tell me, you put those two things together. Tell me Raila saying it's time for conversation and young people themselves saying don't go to State House. What is it that punctured the movement?
No,
You
I
cannot
did not
blame
say
Raila.
don't go to.
You
I
cannot
did
Okay,
not-
sir.
blame Raila.
Again,
Yeah,
Senator,
we-
be factual with what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't go to State House.
Oh.
I said it's time to state out, get out of the street, and continue demonstrating. And then to add to your fact, you've said the truth. There were a lot of demoralizing things that happened, but the final nail on the coffin on this
boss.
protest that came in when they felt there was a betrayal from the opposition.
Somebody
which is a
who,
fact.
how can you be betrayed by
Okay.
somebody who was not part of you?
All
That
right.
is the question you
Aya,
need to
sawa
answer.
sawa. Mika, Senator, we're gonna get back to that.
I had written down 10 questions that you had read from
Okay.
Facebook. I want to
Ah,
tie
from
this.
Facebook, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to tie this to something that I think it was.
Yeah,
is it
callers, we're
Wan-
gonna
is
get
it-
to you.
Is it
Be patient.
Wanderi or somebody who said
Wanjeri.
Wanjeri, yeah.
Yes, that leaders lie too much. Now, let me tell you this, and I will admit here that there is a serious deficit of trust between political class in Kenya and the electorate,
Yeah.
which is why when we explain things, people don't want to believe us. And we have caused this ourselves because of the conduct of politicians over the years and people saying things that they don't believe in or so on and so forth. I understand that. And there is a difference between you perceiving something and it being a fact. The truth does not change depending on whether you believe it or not. The truth remains the truth. We can disagree. You say you don't believe me, but it is the truth. I will not force my truth on you, and you cannot force your perception on me. You know, one of the things I've decided to do, Ali, I will tell my own story. We will tell our own story.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you believe us or not, because at the end of the day, in fullness of time, the truth has a way of coming out. I have been crucified for things that are actually not true, and I've given you examples. I've given you the Ndengu bill. And it was in the national newspaper, Daily Nation. Waliweka wakasema, Senate imepitisha sheria ya kusema ukipanda ndengu utafainiwa. It was not true. Even after an apology was rendered by that newspaper, there are still people who talk about ndengu.
Yeah.
Number two, I gave you the example of people waking up one day and saying, Senate has passed a bill that will make motor vehicles, polling stations. Mpaka hata wewe mwenyewe unaanza kudoubt, because I'm the one who passes those laws and I read every single clause of those laws. I go to my office and open that bill. There simply isn't such a provision. You come to the conflict of interest bill, They have splashed things there saying, oh, we are going to do business. You show them the law. They don't want to read, because in Kenya, when people are wrong, they would never admit. They will never admit. They will never admit that they were wrong. But can we just agree on one thing? We don't have to believe each other. The truth is not going to change. If I can see an iPad in front of you and you're seeing a basin, that is something we cannot resolve, because the distance between your perception and mine is too wide. But if I'm seeing an iPad and you're seeing a phone, then maybe we can have a conversation.
Yeah, but Senator,
the truth will remain the truth.
Yeah, I'll tell you that.
I'll
tell you that. Yeah. But Senator, I'll tell you one thing. You know, like myself, Mika, and a lot of people who've supported Baba before, regardless of whether it was individuals who joined the government or whether it was the party. I mean, of course, you've told us that it was individuals and it wasn't necessarily the party. But I'm telling you, the perception that's on this other side, and that's where sometimes perception may become more important. In as far, especially if you have a political party or an institution that you're trying to put together, I can tell you the ground beneath is boiling, and those 4 or 5 individuals who chose to join government, who are part of the face of the political party, it's being perceived one way.
I understand.
At the bottom,
I understand
and
that.
it's gonna affect.
I understand
the support of the party.
I understand that perception.
Yeah.
Even when I explain to people that there are many within the party who did not support that move, nobody believes it. When I tell people that personally I did not support any of our members joining government, but you need to look at the profile of those people. You know, you guys behave like you don't have eyes. Why didn't you see any young dynamic leaders from ODM joining government? What is the one thing those 4 people share in common? Look at the people themselves, so that when an opportunity like that is presented to them, the likelihood of them saying yes, because of the profile, the life that they have lived, the service that they have already given, the number of years they have been in this business, they would take the opportunity. But for you to come and ascribe that to an entire political outfit so that you discredit us. And number 2, I have been SG of ODM. This is my 7th year. In November, I'm going to be the longest serving SG of ODM. ODM is a party that is not judged by parameters that any other party is judged by. I am telling you this. We have been victims of this fake outrage before. We have been victims of very negative branding. You remember when people say, oh, this ODM is a violent party. But when other people are doing it, it is very stylish.
No, and
we have
that's
had
fair.
people.
We have
had people.
Men in black.
Just a minute. We have had people. We have had people who confessed, including the former governor of Nairobi, confessed of banning vehicles on Ngong Road and then blaming it ODM, so that they can continue that narrative that ODM is a violent party. We understand that. This is the environment that we play in. But believe you me, Ali, the truth, if the sun rises from the east, it doesn't matter which side of the globe you are in. It will come from the east, and it will remain so.
Okay.